Welcome back, Schmac Talk.
Yeah.
Let's get it.
I mean, it's been a while.
We kind of went on a hiatus there.
Life comes at you
We're
fast,
back.
man.
Very
Life comes
true.
at you fast. I mean, as you guys know, I think it was pretty understanding. We were in a depression coma for a week and a half
Yep.
because of that loss to the team up north.
Not even gonna lie. I cried a little bit.
God, I wanted to throw up when they beat Iowa. I just wanted to throw up. I really expected a better game. Not really, but I did.
So walking into it, I was like,
let's just start
probably
with
not
this.
gonna be a better game, but I'm hoping for something a little better than what I saw.
Yeah, let's recap. Okay, for those of you who missed, I know this is a couple of weeks removed, right? This is almost 2 weeks removed. But you started off Friday night. The Utes absolutely went duck hunting again, right? Like we talked about how that was going to be really hard to do.
I was worried. I know, right? That Oregon was going to win.
Beating a team twice is so hard. And the Utes said, "We got Elmer Fudd. Let's go."
They said, "Yo, we're gonna bring 2 Elmer Fudds, and yeah, see ya."
I mean, they just looked so bad. I mean, it was deja vu. Watching that game, I watched it from start to finish, and I was like, "This is deja vu of the last time I watched this play."
I honestly was surprised because I was thinking that Oregon was going to come in and have Utah figured out.
Yeah.
Just like, hey, this is what they shot us with last time. Let's hit them with this to counter. And they did not change a thing.
Neither team changed a thing. They're just like, Utah was like, this is who we are. If you're going to beat us, you're going to stop us, right? Imagine the balls on their coaching staff. They're just like, screw it.
They're like, hey, so we don't really care. We're just going to come back the same way we did last week, and you're not going to stop us.
Good luck. So we had that on Friday night. So that kicked us off with championship weekend, and then had a thriller at noon on Saturday with Okie State, who was my dark horse.
Let's go.
So sad. But Oklahoma State versus Baylor, which, I mean, I think it lived up to the hype in regard of we thought it was going to be a close game.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, we thought it was going to be that. However, watching it, I was just so utterly confused. I was like, Baylor up 21-3 at halftime. Like, I was like, what?
I had to, so I didn't see that game at all. I was just kind of watching the snippets pop up.
Oh my God, dude. I watched it start to finish. You can ask Jordan. I was freaking out.
21-3. I looked and was like, all right. Was not expecting this. Okay. And I was like, hopefully Oklahoma State can just like pull through in the end. And
the inches like this far, it was like this far away from winning. And that's what I remember watching that game. I was like, I said that, I was pulling for Oklahoma State, right? Yeah. I was pulling for Oklahoma State, and then Utah beat Oregon. The first domino fell, and I said, screw it. I was like, let's go Baylor, let's go Bears. Like, and then so I'm rooting for them, right? And then they go up 21-3, and I said, whoa, hold the phone. Like, you can't blow them out, because if you blow them out, then you look like the better team, right? You look like the better 2-loss team. And I was like, that can't happen. It has to be a close game. And I'm watching this because at halftime, I'm like, well, screw it. Okay, go Baylor, like whatever. Although I will say the terrible, I don't know if anybody has seen it, but the terrible backward pass by Baylor that they called a incomplete pass, that was utter BS. If you let go of it on the 32 and it lands on the 32, it is a lateral pass.
Yeah.
Ergo, it's a fumble. So when that happened, I was kind of pulling for Oklahoma State again, because I was like, clearly that's a terrible call.
Yeah.
And then I watched the second half unfold, and I was like, Oklahoma State's coming back. Oh my God. Oklahoma State's going to lose by less than 5 points, which we need, right? Second domino. And I watched that last play, and I think part of me was like, Oklahoma State, win it, because I want you to jump in. right? And then part of me was like, lose, so there's a second domino and there's a chance.
Yeah.
And
But
inches. Well, it's too good to be true, though.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Because then we had Oklahoma State miss it by this much. Hell of a play and hell of an effort by both players involved in that play. Second domino fell, and that was about it.
Yeah.
Because UC came
over.
out. Houston hung around a little bit. UC dominated. UC looked fantastic. I'm sorry. Like they looked fantastic. And that was probably against the best team they've played other than Notre Dame early in the season. And then we talked about how the domino, and speaking of like the dominoes, are talking about Ohio State potentially getting it right. Potential.
There was potential.
What had to happen was Utah had to beat Oregon. Oklahoma State had to lose by a little bit. UC had to lose. Alabama had to lose by, probably, if we're being completely honest, 14 or more points. And it didn't really matter with Michigan. But UC won. It won pretty convincingly. They look really good. And so at that point, I was like, you know what? Put Notre Dame in. I want Georgia to beat Alabama. Put Notre Dame in. Let our Ohio State boy, Marcus Freeman, give Notre Dame a shot to go for the national championship after Brian Kelly just gave up on him, right? Like that would have been historic. So I was like, let's go. Let's get Alabama out of here. And then the evil set in.
Mm-hmm.
And the damn Death Star is not destroyed yet.
You
and
missed
I thought it was
this much, guys.
Oh my, like Alabama made Georgia their bitch.
They looked
that's what it was.
Like
right?
it literally just looked like Alabama came out and was like, hey, so we're still Alabama. And Georgia was like,
I guess we're still Georgia.
What?
Well, I remember texting my buddy who's a Georgia fan. And of course we were talking about it, right, leading up to it.
Yeah.
And I texted him in like middle of the second quarter, and I was like, this is watching Ohio State, Michigan all over again. Like the better team is not prepared.
Yeah.
Like that's exactly what it is. The better team was not prepared. And so then the not better team, who's still a damn good team, like let's put credit where credit's due. Michigan's a good team, right?
Yeah.
We knew that going into this season.
Yeah.
We obviously know Alabama's a good team. But when you looked at those two matchups, it was, well, Georgia and Ohio State are clearly the better teams.
Yeah, and
but they're the unprepared team.
Exactly.
So when you go up against a good team,
you're gonna get a smack in. Like, and as much as we were kind of bashing on Alabama and Michigan all through the year, I don't think any of it was like, oh, you guys are garbage. Like,
no, it was
more like,
it
was
like, the consistency.
You're not paying consistently well.
Yes, and but we did a whole episode of praising Hutchinson and Ajabo.
Yeah,
from Michigan. Like,
exactly. And it's like seeing Michigan win against Iowa. I was like, okay, this is nice. Like at least the better team is going to go in.
Yeah. Did anybody expect them to lose though? I mean, if we were in that situation, really. It would have, like, that's the thing is, regardless if it was Ohio State or Michigan playing Iowa, it was, well, Iowa's going to lose. And I
see there was a glimpse right before the game. I was sitting there. I was like, you're gonna be crazy right now if Iowa just smacked Michigan. And then like I kind of hyped it up in my head and was like, dude, this might happen. This might happen. Well, okay. Like I could see it happening. Michigan comes not ready to play. Iowa's defense shuts down their offense. And then Iowa's offense is just like, hey, let's go. And they start tearing it down the field. And then
but they can't get touchdowns.
Literally the first drive that changed. And then Alabama and Georgia, I watched that game.
Same. Very sad.
And
so sad.
It literally kind of gave me flashbacks to Ohio State, Michigan, like you were saying. I'm like, dude, this is like not what I was expecting to happen. I was expecting it to be like somewhat close in the first half, but like Alabama pulled away
They
early
they
and then
held.
just kept
Yeah.
shutting them down throughout the game. And I'm like, dude, what's happening right now? Like, was this like a little tease? Like, oh, Alabama's not gonna win this year. Alabama's not gonna win this year.
See,
Alabama's gonna win this year. Like,
I knew it was too good to be true when I set up when I threw it right down the middle, and I was like, everyone's talking about new blood, and we're not going to have Ohio State, Oklahoma, Clemson, and Alabama in the college football playoff. I knew it was too good to be true, right? Too good to be true, because clearly Bama has to run it and get it.
Yeah.
But no, like to touch on the Michigan Iowa, yeah, I wasn't surprised.
Yeah.
Like you said, like I built it up in my head where I was like, Iowa has a really good defense, which they do. They do have a really good defense. And I thought that defense played well. I understand what the final score is.
Yeah.
I understand that Michigan hung 42 on them. I also understand that the game was well out of reach with 5 minutes left, and they still put 14 points on because they wanted to honor the high schooler that was tragically killed. And I'm not trying to like bash that at all, but I'm just saying, let's be honest in the fact of you ran the score up because you wanted to run the score up, not because you wanted to honor his number.
Yeah.
Okay. And then we can go down a rabbit hole with their patches and everything. That's for another day. Because I love, air quotes, I love the fact that we honor the football player from that tragic shooting, and then everybody else just gets stars. Like we honor with the number for the player because he's a football player, and then everybody else gets stars. Like, I don't know. I would have preferred if they had like all of them had different patches of like the initials, and they all had the same like number overall. Like I think you could have just done something better, but it was out of hand, whatever. But I thought Iowa's defense played well. They got stops when they needed to. It was just the offense shot themselves in the foot.
Yeah.
It's exactly what happened. Is you can't expect your defense to stop a good offense the entire game when you do not put up points.
Yeah. And just watching that game, it just seemed like Iowa just could not maintain
Zero
a possession.
rhythm. Zero rhythm.
Literally, we're going 3 and out more often than not.
It's crazy how important a run game is, because we always think about how everything's pass now, right? And that's one thing that we kind of have an issue with Ryan Day is like we want a little more balance.
Yeah.
Okay. Like that's what we would prefer. But when you don't have a run game and you're very stagnant like Iowa, it really shows how important a run game is. Now they have really good tight ends, and they showed that. But you can only do so much with tight ends, because at some point you can load the box and like say, okay, you're not getting more than 3 yards on a pass to the tight end. Like, so it was just, I don't want to say they were unprepared, because I think they had a game plan. It's just they didn't have the personnel to run that game plan. Because I didn't think the game plan was bad. I thought it was a good idea. It was very Wisconsin like.
Yeah.
It's just when you don't have a run game like Wisconsin, you can't stay in the fight.
You can't play like Wisconsin,
Yeah, like so the more talented team won, which we anticipated. And I think, like we said, if it was Ohio State, Penn State, or Michigan, or even Michigan State against Iowa, I think we all would have taken the East.
Yeah.
If it was Wisconsin, then
I don't know.
It'd be a little different.
I think Wisconsin would be able to put up a better fight than Iowa, just because
they have more weapons.
They have more weapons.
That's all it is.
Like
their defense is
they've been there before.
Very similar. Yes.
The last time Iowa was in the conference playoffs was 2014, 2015.
No, it was the 15-16 season.
Okay.
Because that was Ohio State won the 14-15 because it's the 2014 national champs, and in 15 they returned almost everybody, and it was a more talented team, and that was when Zeke got 9 carries against Michigan State.
Yeah.
So
like that was the last time they were there. So I mean, they don't have as much.
Oh no, you're right. It was 16. Because 15 is when Michigan State won and then went to the college football playoff and lost to Bama 31-3.
Oh yeah.
And then the following year, so it was 16, it was Penn State versus Iowa. Penn State, because Penn State blocked a field goal at the end of the game to beat Ohio State, went on, smacked Iowa, went to the Rose Bowl. Ohio State only had one loss, got into the playoff and lost 34-0 against Clemson.
Yep. That sounds about right.
God, fucking Dabo.
My man.
God, he's losing his mind. I don't know if you saw all that because his coordinators left. His coordinators, yeah.
Oh, I didn't hear about this.
Breaking news for Ryan or Pat.
What's
sorry,
up, guys?
So in case you missed it for anybody, the defensive coordinator for Clemson is now Oklahoma's head coach.
Yeah.
And the offensive coordinator for Clemson is now Virginia's head coach.
Okay, so
Dabo's scrambling to find people, and their backup quarterback just entered the transfer portal. But Ohio State had 4 guys enter the transfer portal in a week. So
yeah,
2 quarterbacks. And then this is what bugs me. Okay, I'm going to go on a little tangent. Jack Miller, we talked about he's going to transfer, right?
Yeah.
Quinn Ewers, you come up here for a year. You come up to Ohio for a year to get your $1 million in NIL deal just to go home. And this is what bugs me more. Okay, dude, like you have to realize that Ryan Day is going to bring in a quarterback every single year because of this revolving door that is the transfer portal.
Yeah.
Like you can't bank on a guy and say, okay, I don't need to recruit another quarterback for 2 more years. Like you can't do that anymore. Yeah. He's going to bring in a quarterback every single year, and he wants everybody to develop through pressure and competition.
Yeah.
So you reclassified. So you made it where 2 5-star quarterbacks entered as freshmen because you reclassified. Well, guess what, dude? That means he has to go find a quarterback for the 2022 recruiting class.
Yeah.
He does that. He finds a 6'4", 4-star from Utah who was coached by a former Buckeye in Joe Germain. So he's pretty good. Everything I've read on it is pretty good. But after it's announced that that dude commits, you enter the transfer portal. You're scared of competition. That's what it is. You don't want to compete. You just want to be given the job. So whatever, like if you have success, whatever, see ya, boot ya, I don't know, take your dumbass blonde mullet back to Texas. I don't care. Like take it back. But that's the thing that bugs me is that he commits to Texas. You were originally committed to Texas.
Yeah. Why would you change like that? Like
I don't trust people who decommit. I don't do it. I don't trust it. I'm sorry. If someone decommits to come to Ohio State, I'm going to be like, he's going to transfer.
Yeah.
Watch it. It's going to happen because he's not loyal. That's what it is.
Yeah. He's literally just going to try to chase the bag, but not ever acquire it just because he thinks he's all this, all that because, Ohio State was looking at me, but like,
yeah. He didn't even last a semester though.
So what? Yeah.
Think about that. Didn't even last a semester. He didn't even last to the bowl game. Like, good Lord.
Like, dude, come on.
But whatever, go to Texas, bring Texas back. I don't care. You're playing in the SEC your junior year. So
yeah,
go have fun getting destroyed. Yeah, like whatever. Bye. See ya.
Watch him blow up though. Watch him blow up though.
I know. Watch it happen.
It's gonna happen. And we're gonna just be like, all right, we appreciate it.
See, I hope that doesn't happen because then everyone's gonna be like, oh, Ryan Day, you should have kept him. But like, I don't know. I'm pretty confident what CJ Stroud's gonna put on the table next year. Because we talked about he developed pretty well. Like we were hard on him in the beginning, but he developed pretty well. So I'm pretty confident with what he's going to do next year. And then Kyle McCord, I don't think's going anywhere.
No.
So he's going to have a couple years. And if this dude from Utah, if he redshirts his freshman year like we expect him to, he's going to have a couple years. Like I think we're fine.
Yeah.
I think we're just fine.
I definitely agree with that. And kind of touching on the subject of quarterbacks and CJ Stroud. I know I was tough on him this year, but yeah, dude, just coming in as a freshman, I think he handled it pretty well. There were times where he was inconsistent, but he handled it as a young guy. He handled it well. Would come back the next week.
Well, it's for being a redshirt freshman with 0 passes the previous year due to a shortened COVID-19 season.
Yeah,
that's the reality. is that people have to realize, and I have to remind myself sometimes, if we had a normal season last year, this dude would have gotten into multiple games.
Yeah.
And the offense, the flexibility, and his confidence in general,
Would have been a lot higher this year.
He would have been better. And that's what we're saying. It was like, it would have been a lot better. But still, look at his statistics. I mean, I have them pulled up. 280 for 395. That's a 71 completion rating or percentage. 3,862 yards for 38 touchdowns and 5 interceptions.
That's really good.
Like he had a great season.
He had a great season.
And that's with zero development from the season before. I shouldn't say zero development, but zero exposure, experience. Like, think about that.
And I feel like, next year going into it, Harbaugh's going to have a tough time containing him. I think.
I hope.
The offseason, if he works on knowing when to pop out of the pocket and run it.
He showed glimpses.
Shows the speed and agility that he has. That's going to open up his pocket. Or it's going to develop, like his pocket's literally just going to expand just because
he's going to become
more confident
Justin
back
Fields.
there. Yeah. It's literally
that's
just
the thing.
Process of developing completely into, I don't even want to say he's going to be Justin Fields. I think he's going to be better than Justin Fields. I think.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay, let's mark that down. Okay. I mean, wow. I mean, I'd have to. So I think he has the potential. I'd say this. I think he has the potential because watching him, Justin Fields is unreal, right?
Yeah, of course.
But the fact that CJ Stroud for so long this season was talked about the Heisman front runner.
Yeah.
I mean, I see him. I do. I can see it right now that CJ Stroud is going to win a Heisman.
Yeah. If he doesn't, I would be honestly
and then he's going to
surprised.
go. He's going to go to the Cleveland Browns.
Dude, replace Baker?
Oh shit, we're not getting into that. That's a rabbit hole we will not get out of.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
We'll just continue to go.
But
oh my God,
also,
the Browns suck. Oh my God.
News,
oh my God.
Baker Mayfield is out for this week due to testing positive for COVID. So
Case Keenum. Oh my gosh,
you left.
You left before.
Let's get it, bud.
I can't find there. Okay,
let's get it, bud.
He was quoted. Case Keenum was quoted today saying, so I guess Nick Chubb is like 100% now. And he said, yeah, having a full Chubb back there is going to be really exciting. I love it. And he said that on purpose. He said that on purpose. That is just
genius.
Perfection.
Genius. I mean, honestly, though, I'm excited to see Nick Chubb at 100%. Just like running.
Oh yeah, I wish he wasn't from Georgia, because if he wasn't from Georgia, Ohio State had a chance.
Yeah,
but that also means that Alabama had a chance. But with him being a homegrown Georgia dude, he was not leaving. But whatever. That's for another. I love him. I mean, I love watching him play. Dude. But speaking of dudes, though, okay. And speaking of quarterbacks, Bryce Young is your 2021 Heisman Trophy winner. What do you think about that?
I'm honestly not surprised.
That's fair.
I haven't really seen a lot of his gameplay, so I can't really say too much on it. I
prefer CJ Stroud. The more I watch the both of them, the more I prefer CJ Stroud. Not gonna lie.
I mean, I can't really say too much on it just because I didn't really watch a whole lot of Alabama. But I mean,
I gotcha.
And what I saw, I was like, okay, he definitely knows what he's doing back there. But I don't know if maybe that Alabama carried a little bias, to get him that.
What's interesting is he's only the 4th Alabama player to win it.
Really?
Only the 4th. Yeah, which surprised me too.
I did not know that.
I thought there were more.
Definitely thought. I know they've always had someone in the running.
Yeah, but I also think this is the first time that they've had a legitimate good quarterback. legitimate quarterback. What I find interesting is, so he's he's listed as 6 foot, right?
Yeah.
Listed as the same height as me. In case you guys didn't know, I'm 6 foot. But
shorty.
I know, get out of here. But so they were posting, ESPN was posting all the pictures of them, like the three. It was really, I guess Pickett showed up late because it was just Stroud, Hutchinson, and Bryce Young all like around the Heisman Trophy a couple days before, because they go to New York, they get thrown around, toured around, they do interviews, they hang out with people and whatnot. And they're all standing next to each other. And CJ Stroud's 6'3" and Hutchinson 6'5". And when I tell you that they towered over him, Like it wasn't
Is he like 5'10"? Are we talking like sub 5'10"? Are we talking like 5'10"?
I'm talking
5'11"?
I'm talking he looked between 5'10" and 5'11", where it's more, it's like Stroud to him is more than 3 inches. Like that's what I'm talking. Like he looked small, which brings to a good an interesting point that an NFL analyst said on ESPN. They said before the Heisman was given out, they said Bryce Young will win the Heisman this year.
Yeah.
But they said CJ Stroud will have the better NFL career.
Oh yeah,
and
I can see that.
I think that's accurate. I think that's very accurate.
I mean, you can kind of get away with it in college being a shorter quarterback, but once you get to the NFL, you can't really be that size and excel.
Oh, yeah.
That's just not something that typically happens. I mean, if he goes out and does it, more power to him.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'd love
Prove
to see
everybody
it,
wrong.
but
yeah,
the odds are not in your favor.
No,
that's
just
all I
not.
gotta say.
The prototype and the testing is Kyler Murray right now. It started with Baker Mayfield, right? Baker Mayfield is an undersized quarterback, and then it went to Kyler Murray, and now we're gonna see next with Bryce Young. But I want to throw some statistics out. I'm gonna play devil's advocate. I'm not advocating that Stroud should have won the Heisman over Young. What I'm doing is pointing out some interesting things, because I don't agree with it going Young, Hutchinson, Pickett, Stroud.
Yeah.
Okay. I don't agree with Stroud being fourth, and I think part of it came from having Jackson Smith-Njigba, Garrett Wilson, and Chris Olave as your 3 main wide receivers, and Jeremy Ruckert as your tight end. I think that worked to his not benefit, but actually hurt him.
Yeah.
Okay. And I don't think that's right. Okay. Because as the season progressed, he did a lot more downfield throws. Yeah. Right. As the season progressed for Bryce Young, he threw a lot more screens and slants to Jameson Williams, one of our former, great wide receivers, who is now a first-round pick. Think about this.
But dude,
think about, you're going to have Jameson Williams, Garrett Wilson, and Chris Olave in the first round this year for the draft. You're going to have 3. I understand he's going to go as an Alabama wide receiver, but you're going to have 3 Ohio State developed wide receivers. Because I'm sorry, Alabama didn't have to do anything with him. They just said, "Hey,"
he was there, and then
said, "Hey, run this route.
Hey, can you do this?"
All right, well, and I just want to point out that Alabama has some pretty good tight ends, and they had Mechie the third and Williams as their wide receivers. They're not hurting for talent. So Bryce Young had a very equivalent a talent around him. So keeping that in mind, I wrote down some statistics. I already told you Stroud's statistics, 3,862 yards, 38 touchdowns, 5 interceptions. Okay. Now in comparison to Young he was 314 for 462. So about 70 more passing attempts than CJ Stroud. Came out to a 68% completion rating, 4,322 yards. So roughly 500 more yards than Stroud, 43 touchdowns. So 5 more touchdowns and 1 less interception, as he ended with 4 interceptions. I would like to note,
statistically, that's kind of a lot better though.
But remember, Stroud did not play against Akron, and Stroud did not have a conference championship game. If Stroud played same number of games, do you think Stroud would have had better numbers? Do you think Stroud would have essentially won it in that regard? Because if you do per game, Stroud is winning, right? Yeah. If you break it down per game, Stroud played better. It's just he had 2 more games. So then we compile the whole statistics. But then, and then also in comparison, Pickett threw the most of them as he went 334 for 497, 67%, 4,319 yards, 42 touchdowns and 7 interceptions. I don't really take much from that because Pitt is just slinging the ball everywhere.
Yeah.
They don't really have anything else.
And to kind of revert back to when we were talking about CJ being 4th in that race, I definitely think he should have been at least 3rd, just because Pickett has more games, yes, but he also has more interceptions, lower percentage, and also lower touchdowns, right?
Shit ton. No, he had more touchdowns.
He had
most
4
touchdowns.
more touchdowns.
But most touchdowns of anybody. But he had a bunch more attempts than either one of them.
Yeah.
That's the big thing, is he's throwing the ball around, so he should have better statistics, right?
Yeah.
And then also, so Hutchinson coming in 2nd, I completely disagree with. I'm sorry. And this is why. Okay, I understand it. I understand for everyone who's going to say, well, it's year to year, because I'm about to bring up Joey Bosa debate and Chase Young debate. Okay, I'm about to do it because I love those guys. I'm going to do it. And it'll open your eyes a little bit. I understand it's year to year. It's based on who the players are that year, right? But if Joey Bosa and Chase Young did not finish 2nd in their rating or in their ranking those years, Hutchinson should not have finished 2nd this year. So Hutchinson finished the season 58 total tackles, 33 solo tackles, 25 assisted tackles. He had 3 pass deflections, 14 sacks, 2 forced fumbles, and 0 touchdowns. Now, in 2014, when Ohio State won the national championship, Joey Bosa, he was not invited to New York. He finished 6th among voting. 56 total tackles. So pretty
2 less.
Similar, right? Just 2 less. 40 solo tackles. So more solo tackles than assisted tackles, 16 assisted. 0 pass deflections, 13 and a half sacks. So 0.5 less, right? I mean, these statistics are almost identical. Here's the difference. 4 forced fumbles and a touchdown.
Yeah.
Okay, a little scoop and score. And I understand scoop and score, somebody else did the dirty work. He just picked it up and ran. But still, he was in the right place at the right time.
Yeah.
That didn't even qualify him for an invite to New York.
Yeah.
That's my issue, is I understand that was the year with Marcus Mariota and Amari Cooper and Melvin Gordon. But you're telling me that he's not the 4th best? Yeah. Like, he was definitely the 4th best player. You could have invited him and he came in 4th. I would have been fine with that. Yeah. But you didn't even invite him. That's the issue. Looking at Chase Young, 2019, he was invited. He finished 4th. 46 total tackles. Okay. And you're going to notice some of these statistics, big difference. And I'll get to why in a second for those of you who don't remember or didn't know. 46 total tackles. So 12 less. 32 solo tackles. So almost identical. Yeah. Almost identical. 14 assisted tackles, obviously less because of math. 3 pass deflections, same. 16 and a half sacks, 2.5 sacks more. 6 forced fumbles, so 4 more forced fumbles, 0 touchdowns. But here's the kicker: he was suspended for 4 games. Yeah, he didn't play in 4 games that season. One of being against Rutgers. Imagine how many sacks he would have if he played against Rutgers. Right, he would have got like 4 right there. Yeah, but he has a more disruptive season playing less games than Hutchinson, and he came in 4th. Yeah. And that was the year with 2019, I believe that was Murray's year. Kyler Murray's year. Yeah, because last year was Devontae Smith. Mm-hmm. So Kyler Murray, no. Was it Murray or was it Burrow? It was Burrow.
It would be Burrow, yeah.
Yeah, because it was Burrow, Fields, Jalen Hurts, and Chase Young were all invited. Yeah. So, I mean, a worthy, right? a worthy competitor to lose to in Joe Burrow. Yeah. But it's just like, if he played those 12, 13 games that Hutchinson played in, just imagine, would we be talking? I know Joe Burrow still would have won it, but then Chase Young's probably 2nd, right?
You would think
I
so.
just I just find it interesting, and I understand it's a year-to-year thing,
Yeah.
but I also don't like the fact that when there's a good Ohio State defensive player, it's Ohio State. They're supposed to be good, right? You kind of downplay.
I don't
and I
even
also
think it's necessarily that. I think it's like, a lot of it is based year to year. And I kind of like that they're putting in a defensive player to the Heisman.
I just don't like that they push. Well, yeah, no, I agree.
I just
with
don't
that.
like how they placed him at second instead
I
of
just don't like the narrative that ESPN put out, because they basically said like, this is the best defensive player we've seen since like Lawrence Taylor, and I'm like, you had this dude called Myles Garrett and Joey Bosa and Nick Bosa and Chase Young, and I understand I'm missing some Alabama and LSU guys in there as well, but it's just like, Hutchinson's really good. I like watching him play. I wish that his dad didn't play at Michigan, because then Ohio State had a chance of recruiting him. I mean, that's the reality of it. But with his dad being a Michigan great, he was going to become a Michigan great.
Yeah,
it is what it is. But the fact that it was just like all of a sudden, it's like they did not push ESPN did not push the narrative for Chase Young the way they pushed the narrative for Aidan Hutchinson.
Yeah,
and that's my issue.
Yeah,
that's my issue.
We can do a whole episode about how ESPN kind of like
dictates the trophies.
Yeah, dictates the trophies, and like just has such a skewed look on like the different things going on around the leagues, and we could talk pretty much for hours about that.
Well, I don't like the college football awards anymore, because I do think it's very narrative. Yes. Yeah. Well, okay. Let's just be honest. Like, Jameson Williams was a finalist for the best receiver award.
Yeah.
I think he deserved it. Right. What I don't agree with is Chris Olave, Jackson Smith-Njigba, and Garrett Wilson were not even not even one of them was the finalist. And then, so if you're keeping those three out and Jameson's in, then Jameson's the best receiver, right?
Yeah.
How does he not win it?
Yeah.
That's my issue.
Yeah.
That is my issue right there, is the best receivers weren't even the finalists. And then the best receiver of the finalists didn't even win it. So it's very narrative driven. Yeah. That's my issue with the awards. And that's why I don't pay attention anymore. It's like a couple of years ago when Jeff Okuda, was by far the best DB in America, and he didn't even win the Jim Thorpe.
Yeah,
and went to somebody from LSU who only played half the season. And it's so I've given up on the awards. The Heisman, I watch it just to see.
Yeah, and honestly, I've gotten to the point where I don't even watch the Heisman. I just kind of wait for that notification I get when the award's given out. And I'm like, oh, cool. Nice. All right. Kind of figured.
Well, let's just, I mean, again, like what I'm about to say could take us down a rabbit hole. So I'll keep it very short, but the Heisman does not determine success at the next level.
Oh,
Think about all the Heisman. Okay. How many of them were actually good? Like legitimately good in the NFL. Think about that.
Probably less than 5%.
Like it honest. Doesn't it? And like, I love Archie Griffin and Eddie George and Troy Smith. Yeah. Among the three, Eddie George had the most. He had the best career of those three. Archie Griffin wasn't great in the NFL. Troy Smith wasn't great in the NFL. Eddie George was good. Yeah. He just happened to be on not a super good team. Like they made a playoff run, but it was like that was it.
Yeah.
So it doesn't determine success. And it just bugs me that we think it, like we always talk about like, oh, well, Devontae Smith is by far going to have like the most, and it's like, okay, Devontae Smith was really, really good and he won the Heisman, but like that doesn't guarantee he's going to be good at the next level.
Do you think these awards are skewed to give them out to the people who like are showing up in college and are going to be good in college and that's it?
Ooh, that's a good question. Because Trevor Lawrence never won a thing.
Yeah. But yeah,
and Justin Fields never won a thing.
The Jaguars aren't doing too well, But
let's just go into that.
no,
Oh,
one sec before we dive down that rabbit hole. All right.
we can wrap up with that.
But like so like Trevor Lawrence, granted, he's not having the best year, granted it's his first year in the NFL, doesn't have the greatest team. And also it's also dealing with a lot of other coaching staff issues going on there.
Yeah, and I'm not degrading Trevor Lawrence at all. I think him and Justin Fields are both in really shitty situations.
Yeah, which is like,
being honest.
If you could change the teams that they were on, put Justin Fields or
put either one of them where Mac Jones is, and you're gonna have the same result.
You have a team. No,
but that's the thing though, is that like Justin Fields and Trevor Lawrence, if they were put in Mac Jones' situation, would be playing like Mac Jones is.
Yeah.
Right. Everyone's talking about, Mac Jones is the best rookie QB. And it's like, no, it's the system.
Yeah.
Everyone said whoever the Patriots draft is going to be good this year.
Yeah.
Like it is what it is. So, I mean, Trevor Lawrence and Justin Fields are dealing with a lot of stuff within a lot of coaching issues within both within both organizations, if we're being honest. So I'm excited to see how they both grow. I think people just need to give them like 5 years, give them to the end of their rookie deal, and then we can see what's actually happening.
Yeah. But to finish the Heisman talk here, I would like to see next year and the years to come, I definitely want to see CJ win. I think he'll definitely at least win one. I think he has a possibility of winning two.
I think if he wins the Heisman next year, he's going to the NFL. Because he's a redshirt freshman, which means it'll be his third year in college next year, which means he's eligible.
Yeah.
Because he'll be a redshirt sophomore.
Yeah, that COVID thing really messes up. Like
he could play 6 years if he wanted to because of COVID. But yeah, he's in the academics. He's a sophomore this year, which means he's a junior next year.
Yeah.
Which means he can go to the NFL. So that's what I was saying.
But do you think he will go to the NFL just to go to the NFL, or do you think he'll play his senior year and then dip out?
I think if he wins the Heisman and or Ohio State wins the national championship, he's dipping.
Okay, yeah. I think if they win the national championship and he wins the Heisman, he's out. But I think if he just wins the Heisman, or if they just win a championship, I think he'll come back for his senior year.
That's fair.
And play.
I also think that it would be that would put a lot of stress on, if he comes back for another year, it'll put a lot of stress on Kyle McCord and then the freshman that's coming in, just because then it's like, okay, when do I go? You know?
Yeah.
So that'll be an interesting thing I think if he has another year that's really, really good, then he'll consider going. But I could easily see him coming back and playing for a third year, like being his redshirt junior year, but then partaking in senior day and everything. Like I can easily see that happening. Easily.
Yeah, and I can see that happening too. And then to also just finish out Heisman, do you think that we should be seeing more defensive players in the Heisman?
I think we should. It's just, I want to see less quarterbacks. The issue is that the college game, everything runs through the quarterback so much. I would like to see more defensive players and more running backs, because I think that they are the unsung heroes. Yeah, I think a good running game, and I understand you can have a really good running back and have a shitty offense line, and then you don't have the statistics to show it. But so I get that the running back needs to get help from the line. But I just think that a really good running back allows the quarterback to do a lot more, and a really good defensive lineman. Typically, if we're talking about defense lineman, it's going to be really hard for a linebacker or a DB to get it unless the DB is picking off somebody every week. Yeah. Which at some point you're just not going to get thrown at, right? You're just not going to throw.
They're literally just going to be like, all right, so we're not throwing to you this week. We're not throwing to you this week.
Yeah. So, I mean, I would like to see it. I just think in regard to defensive players, it's going to be a year by year basis.
Yeah.
That one is going to
yeah.
easily be a year by year.
Yeah, and that's something I can agree with. One thing that I was kind of thinking about was the idea of, instead of having like multiple quarterbacks go for the Heisman, select the top quarterback. Whoever wins what's the quarterback of the year award? I don't even remember at this
I
point.
forget. Is it like the
But
Maxwell
yeah, or some whatever the
or the
award
Davey
is.
O'Brien? Which one is it? I don't know. There's
Yeah.
okay. Here's the issue. There's a
Whoever wins
quarterback
that
of the
award,
year.
they
There's a
should just
quarterback,
go
running
into the
back.
Heisman run, and that should be that. You shouldn't have 2 or 3 quarterbacks in there and have like a running back.
So you want to like
I want to
every
kind of make it
position.
so, yeah, kind of every position, and then that way you're getting a more diverse group in there, because I feel like it's getting stale to the point where it's just quarterbacks,
yeah, that's why.
and quarterbacks, and it's like,
Yeah,
yeah, I
that's what a
like
bunch of
agree
people
they're
are
putting a
saying.
bunch of stuff, but like I feel like some people have the idea that the Heisman Trophy is for the best player,
That's what it was
and
made for.
that best player is the quarterback in most people's eyes, which I don't think that's necessarily.
No, it's not accurate. Here's what I would like to see. I want to see, I don't care who it comes from. Like if it would be Ohio State, it'd be great.
Yeah.
I want to see another generational player like Orlando Pace. I want to see another offensive tackle be so good that you can't not invite him. Right? I want another player like that where it's like, oh my gosh, this is what the Heisman was for. Like it is for the best player in America, right? It's the most prestigious college award, and it's not just for quarterbacks, right? It's supposed to be for everybody. So I want to see another Orlando Pace.
So are you saying we should see another good Brandon Burlsworth?
Oh my god.
Sorry, I watched that movie recently, and that's such a good movie.
I wouldn't put him on Orlando Pace level though.
I mean, for a walk-on though, I'll take it.
Well,
it's a good story and everything.
Well, he was an All-American. He was really, really good. I'm just saying he wasn't Pace.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I see what you're saying, but like, you don't. I feel like you don't really see outbreaking linemen.
No, but like if we're talking someone like Burlsworth or somebody like Pace, like yeah, that's who I want to see. I want to see someone where it's like, holy shit, that dude is good, right? Yeah. Like someone like Michael Orr in high school, like in The Blind Side, how he played in high school, where I was just like, whoa,
oh snap. Like I want to see. I wish we saw more of that in college football, and I bet there's someone out there that is that good. And like, I just don't know what team they're on, and I just haven't seen them play yet, which is like kind of surprising. But I mean, I don't know. I feel like we need to give more credit to the offensive line
oh, absolutely.
Because I mean, without them, you don't have a running game, you don't have a passing game,
you don't have anything.
You don't have anything.
And speaking of the whole team, let's wrap it up real quick, right? Final four.
Jacksonville Jag.
Well,
okay. Yeah, let's go there first.
Really quick. Ready? This isn't really a good transition, but the Jacksonville Jaguars, breaking news as of December 16th. Actually, as of December 16th this morning, Jacksonville Jaguars have moved on from legendary college coach. I'm not claiming him anymore. College coach Urban Myer. Yeah.
Bye-bye.
I'm not surprised.
Yeah, honestly.
I'll keep it nice and sweet for you. The Urban Meyer that we saw at Ohio State is not the Urban
Meyer we're seeing now.
I don't know what is going on. It's not even the Urban Meyer that you saw at Florida. Although I did see an interesting statistic. 30% of his Florida players were arrested at least once while he was a coach there. That's concerning. If I'm a Florida fan, looking at that's kind of concerning. And I heard that he was a really tough coach to play for. And I've heard from people at Ohio State within I'm not going to name anybody because I don't want to put them on blast and because I like them, but that work with him on the academic side of college football, or worked with him, that they said he's just an asshole. And so I find it interesting because obviously like that's somebody who like worked with them daily, right? That like, communicated with them, and they're like, no, he's just an asshole. But the dude that we saw at Ohio State is not this guy at all. And I heard he was a hard coach to play for, and he was tough and everything. And he had some like old school ways of trying to motivate you. But the stuff that came out of Jacksonville this year is just insane.
Like
it what? Seems like a completely different person. And I'm just like, what? And I'll just say that it's going to take a couple years. I think he'll coach again just because somebody's going to be desperate.
Yeah.
And say like, hey, you were a really good college coach. Come here. But this dude has like potentially screwed himself over. You want to talk about an abusive environment to work in? Like,
bruh.
What?
Bruh.
Oh my gosh. So yeah, I'll keep it short and sweet. I don't know if you want to say anything about it.
That's kind of where I'm just gonna leave it right there, because I'm still kind of blown away about
processing.
Yeah, still processing everything. And I mean, like you were saying, I don't think he's the same coach that he was at Ohio State in the NFL.
I don't know what happened, but
I think with everything happening off the field and with COVID and everything, it's not his time. It's not his time.
Yeah. And as
far as Jacksonville
this is the first
goes,
time he's been fired. This is the first time he's been fired. He always walks away. So
yeah,
I wonder if we're going to see even more of a spiral because he's he doesn't have control now.
Yeah, that's something we're gonna have to watch for. But I definitely think that Jacksonville kind of made the right move, and look for a new coach just because it just wasn't working out. And I think if we want to give the credit to the current players there, I think that they could be a lot better than what they're at right now. Like 2-11, 2
they're 2-11.
2-11.
So
like
they're better than that.
Come on.
We'll see what happens. But to end on a high note, the Final Four is here. We got Alabama versus the Cincinnati Bearcats.
Yeah.
You see.
You see.
Oh Lord. So we got Alabama. We literally have David versus Goliath.
Literally. Okay, and watching.
Let's break down that game real quick. Who do you think? Like all that stuff.
I want to be kind of faithful in UC. I want to see kind of a game played. But realistically, what's probably going to happen is Alabama's going to come out, score early. UC might maintain for the first like 2 or 3 drives. After that, it's Alabama's game.
That's fair. That's
going to be.
Here's what I'll say. I will be Ohio faithful. Okay, yeah. All you UC fans, all you Cincinnati fans
that we have been bashing all year.
Oh, okay. Hold up, though. Okay, we have been kind of, but I will say this: I have been bashing you because Columbus and Ohio State has tried to reach out to you, and Cincinnati, you reject the rest of Ohio, and it really pisses me off because you're part of Ohio. You're part of the great state of Ohio. Own it, because Kentucky doesn't want you. Okay, so you're stuck. You're stuck with Ohio. Deal with it. So, with that being said, the combination of Desmond Ridder. Okay, that dude has gotten so good. And I understand it's partially like the system and everything, but that dude's a leader. He reminds me of JT, but he's more athletic than JT. I'll admit it.
Dude is nasty.
And he's #girl dad. Okay.
Yeah.
He has a baby girl and a golden retriever. So let's go.
Hey.
Okay. But combination of his leadership with the players and how many Power 5 transfers they have. They have 30, I think it's 31 or 32 seniors. Okay, the veteranship, I don't even know if that's a word, that they have on this team, and how many of them came from Power 5 schools. They have the talent, they have the ability, and they have a head coach who was in a David and Goliath Alabama versus Ohio State game. Let's get it UC by 3. Let's go.
Okay.
Let's go. Let's go.
I dig it. I'm about it.
I'm not going to say they're going to blow them out. They're going to beat them by 3. Like,
If there is a game, it'll be a close game. Definitely. Like, I don't think it'll be.
I think they have the team of all the non-power 5. They have a power 5.
They have a chance. They have a chance.
They have a team. They're playing with good veterans. They have a great head coach who's been there before, who's dissected Alabama before. They have belief. They have talent. It's all working together. Hopefully they wear those red matte helmets that are so good.
So nice.
Let's go. Not Cats by 90.
Cats by 3.
Cats by 3.
I can agree with that.
You just need a dub. You just need a dub.
Let's get it.
Moving to the other side.
To Michigan and Georgia. Who do you have pulling out there? Who do you got winning?
Oh, Lord. I actually think this is going to be a really good game.
Yeah.
I think it's going to be
where I'm at.
I think it's going to be a good game because Michigan's playing. Unfortunately, they're playing with a lot of confidence right now.
Yeah.
They got 2 of the best pass rushers in the nation. There's no question about that. Haskins has finally developed into the running back that we, as college football fans, have been waiting for him to show up. And they got a confident quarterback. He knows he doesn't have to do too much. He's kind of like JT Barrett, where he's like, I'm just going to facilitate and see what happens. I think their one draw is they got a coach who doesn't know when to shut up.
Yeah.
And Harbaugh. The big question is, can Georgia get out of their own way? We said that all year when it comes to championship, when it comes to the SEC. I mean, we said it like 3 weeks ago. Can they get out of their own way, right? They'll lose to Alabama if they can't get out of their own way.
Yeah.
Can they bounce back? Their quarterback play looked miserable against Alabama. They are by far the more talented team.
Yeah.
Okay. There's no question about that. They're the more talented team. They have the better players. If they get a run game established and get their quarterback comfortable and confident, then I think they can win. I do see Georgia winning the game because I want them to.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't be surprised if Michigan won, because that would just be this year, is that we have to choose between Alabama and Michigan, the lesser of 2 evils. I guess I'm going with Nick Saban. Okay, I guess
that
I'm
just
going
leaves
with
a
that.
bad taste in my mouth.
I know, it really does. So I'm pulling for Georgia. Plus, Georgia has adopted the Ohio State tradition of taping up all M's on campus with red X's.
Let's go!
The day after it was announced that Georgia was playing Michigan, they went around on campus and taped up all those M's. So let's go. Let's get it, Georgia Bulldogs.
Just for that, let's go Georgia.
Let's go by 10.
I'd say 10-14 area.
I'd say 10 at max.
Honestly, I think it'll go either way. I
by
think
9. Let's go by 9. Let's go by 9.
Whichever team shows up to play better is winning by 9.
Yeah, the big thing is Georgia's been here before.
Yeah.
Michigan hasn't. Michigan got a little pass with Iowa. Okay, that wasn't like a Wisconsin team who's been there before, right? So Georgia, all these players have played in the SEC championship game multiple times. Some of them were on, they were freshmen, but some of them were on that national championship failure of a team with Tua bombing it down. I'm still triggered by that, and I'm not even a Georgia fan. So I think we're going to have – that would be awesome if we had a Georgia UC national championship rematch.
That'd be beautiful.
Rematch of last year.
That'd be so great. But honestly, I'm not even going to speak it into existence. Cats by 3, Georgia by 9. Let's go. We'll see you next week. Thanks for tuning in.
UC.
Cats by 3.
Oh, Lord.